In this video, we're talking about sound design. So let me show you guys how this video feels, looks, and sounds without any sound effects. Pretty boring, right? It doesn't drive home the point, it doesn't engage, and it doesn't feel right. So let me show you guys the same clip with sound design. Alright, so this sounds way better, and the reason is that all the sound effects that I placed on this timeline enhances all the movement and the visuals. So in this video, I'll break down my timeline, all of the sound effects that I use, why I use them, and most importantly, why I place them where I place them on this timeline. My name is Christian, by the way. Thank you guys for tuning in. Let's go. So as you can see here, this is the timeline. I have muted all the sound effects and I just left this song right here, which I found on Artlist. And most of these sound effects is found on Artlist as well. I think a couple of them are from Epidemic Sound, and I actually use both to find songs and sound effects. So as you can see here, you see this transition that is going on over here. I actually used many different sound effects to create more powerful transition into the next clip. So for that, I used this right here, which is a hard metallic whoosh. And then I have this ignite fireball whoosh, and then this electric transition fire whoosh. So all of these together makes this sound. Yes, and if I put it together with the song right here, yes, it sounds really nice, and you get thrown into the action of me walking towards the car. Now, I actually want to add a couple of steps as well, walking steps, because as you can see here, I'm walking, so I just want to emphasize the walking steps. So I'll just put one there and one here. Perfect. Yes. Next thing I did was to actually add this Grizzly Bill Venom, which is not a sound effect actually. It's the beginning of a song, and I was supposed to use this song, but I ended up using this song, The Razor. But I think this sounds really good, and it adds to the drama, and it also has a cinematic impact hit that emphasizes the moment where I actually open the door of the car. So let's see how this sounds. The next thing I did was to actually add this mechanical spell. And you can hear all this ticking sounds that really adds drama and atmosphere, and it also adds texture with the ticking. So I really like to experiment with different sounds that adds texture to the videos. So the next thing I did was to add this cinematic hit, and that helps with the door opening here. And to add even more to that, I actually added this dungeon cinematic whoosh burning effect. Yes, I actually put this and this in there as well for that hit. It's kind of emphasizing that the door is opening and creating more drama. Yes. Now, next thing I did was to add this closing door effect, and then this whoosh sound to even add more emphasis on the door actually opening. Now, the next thing I did was to add this sound effect right here, which is a riser with a stutter effect, which is really nice here because I have many fast-paced clips here, and to emphasize the movement of this fast-paced clips, I added this stuttering riser to make it feel faster and make it feel more dramatic. Yes. And like I said in the beginning, the takeaway that I really want to emphasize as well is that when you use one effect, you might want to use other sound effects to build on the initial sound effect. So let's say that this is my base sound effect, then I can use more sound effects to emphasize the speed and the drama and the action going on. So for that, I actually added this right here. As you can see, that together sounds way better. But to spice it up even more, I added these two effects, a mechanical sound. This one, which is a poker cards shuffle sound effect. Perfect. Now, I actually added a Porsche 911 sound effect here. Not so noticeable, but it's there. And then I added this engine sound as well. And then to tie this all together, I added this car closing door effect. Alright, so now we are actually done with the first portion of this video. Now the second portion of this video is a little bit slower before it gets faster towards the end. So here it's not much action going on, but I still want to emphasize the car engine and the tires rolling on the parking lot. So let's just start with the rolling tires. Yeah, it's not so noticeable in the end, but it creates more texture and it really helps to create a more complete and whole vibe. Now, the next thing I did was to add this Porsche 911 sound effect. And the next thing I did was to actually add the real engine sound of this red car right here. And what I did was to tape a lav mic here so I could pick up the exhaust sound while I was driving, and the cable was actually pulled in here and into the car and then on my phone, which was what I recorded the sound with. This is the engine sound of the Boxer 981. Let's see how this sounds. Really nice. Alright, so now we are transitioning over to the last part of this video. So yeah, what I did here was to add this whoosh again, and then I added this whoosh burning effect. Let's see how this sounds. Now, to emphasize the pace here and the fast cuts, I added this one right here. And I added this right here, which is a metallic sound effect, which I used in the beginning here as well. And then I added this card shuffle, which is pretty similar to this one. Now let's see how this sounds. Yes, it really helps this sound effect sound more powerful. So next thing I knew I wanted to emphasize when I recorded this actually was the gear shifting here. As you can see, this is a PDK gearbox with paddles, and I wanted to emphasize the hit when you change gears. So the first thing I did was to actually use real audio from the engine of this car. And like I said, I actually used the lav mic taped to the back here to record the sound. I actually placed the sound effect exactly where it's gearing so it matches the visuals. Let's hear that again. Perfect. Alright, so to build on this sound effect, I added this right here, which is a door closing effect. It's not so noticeable, but it helps. Then I added this one, which is a whoosh. Then I added this one, which is a cinematic hit. Yeah, and then I added this one, which is a fireball whoosh. And then I added this one, which is a dramatic cinematic hit. So next thing I did was to add this, which is a button interior sound, which actually doesn't have anything to do with the gear shifting, but it sounds really good with all the sound effects combined. And then I added this sound effect, which actually is lights on and off on a car. Now we need a little bit more drama and build up before that hit. So I added this sound effect right here, which is a mechanical clicking effect. So next thing I did was to add this cinematic hit to create even more drama. Next thing I did was to add more of that recorded sound of the Boxer 981, which is this car. Let's see how this sounds. And to spice it up even more, I added this sound effect, which is a sound effect of a passing Porsche 977. Let's see how this sounds. Next thing is this beam riser, and this is coming towards the end here where you see my name coming up. Alright, so next thing was this riser metallic. Yes, it's super nice in the end there, and I've used this riser many times because it's really nice and it works. So next thing I did was to add this fireball whoosh again. It helps the transition from the clips to the name here as well. And then I added this burning whoosh effect. Sounds great. And last but not least, to wrap this whole edit up, I actually used this cinematic hit to close the whole video. Yes, this thing right here is basically just the end of the song that I had to cut up because the song was longer than this 9-second clip. Let's see how this sounds with the sound effects only. So now we can just unmute the song and see how it sounds with the song and everything together. I'm really satisfied with this. As you can see, there's not so much sound effects here. I think the only takeaway is that you should use many sound effects to build one specific movement in a clip. If you want to see a breakdown of this color grade, I have a full breakdown on my channel. I will leave a link to that in the description as well, where I go over exactly how I got this look. Plus I give a free LUT away. So yeah, go and check that out. So that is basically it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you learned something. And if you found this video valuable, I would appreciate it if you gave this video a like. That will mean a lot to me. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, as always. And by the way, make sure to follow me over at Instagram, where I post stories, reels, photos, and all that good stuff when I'm not posting onto YouTube. So again, thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Peace.